What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl Tanisha coming to you again. How are you doing today? Good. I'm glad. I really am. This is my third review of one of Tiffany Buckner's videos or podcasts. And this one was The Trick of the Enemy in Relationships. And I only have to do a 10-minute video on this, but you could go on and on and on and on and on about this subject. And I thoroughly enjoyed this video, but it got me to thinking of how many times I've been tricked into a relationship. So she started off and she spoke about an individual. Say, for instance, there's a young lady and she's in a relationship with a young man. She labeled this young man, and actually this probably can happen both ways, really, because nowadays, you know, even women are, you know, doing things. So she called this individual the stumbler. So he kind of stumbles into a relationship, or has you stumble into a relationship. So they have you stumble into a relationship. It's not two individuals who say, you know what, I like you, let's get together. And they do. That would be the ideal way. I'm thinking that would be the easiest way. But there are people out there who are engaged in manipulation, and they just try to go about things a roundabout way, a sneaky way, a conniving way, a manipulative way to get what they want, but then not have the responsibility of responding in a manner that's appropriate for the situation. So she said the stumbler, he's not really ready. He'll say things like, I'm not really ready for a relationship, but I like you. Okay, that's fine. And a lot of times women fall for it because we'll get placed in the situation. Oh, this is sis. Oh, this is my sister, or this is my friend. But we never are placed in the category of girlfriend. And now there's this thing where people say, well, you know what? I don't like to put labels on people. Well, when you go to the grocery store, there's several labels. You don't want to pick up clam chowder when what you wanted was spaghetti sauce, right? You don't want to pick up shrimp when what you wanted was salmon, right? There's a reason why there's labels. You have labels so you can know what's going on. Try not labeling stop signs. Try not labeling chemicals. Try not labeling things, and you're going to run into a world of hurt, trouble, and possibly death. Same thing in the relationship world. A lot of people, that's a lazy, roundabout way of saying, I don't really want to commit to you. I want to kind of deal with what I'm dealing with you, but I also want to deal with what I want to deal with her or with him. It's like the longer I can keep you confused, the better. The more time I allow you, or I have you trying to figure out even what we are, the better. Do you understand? Because at the same time, especially a lot of women, even in the friend zone or in the I'm not officially your girlfriend, women have a tendency to do things that are very girlfriend or wife-like. Fixing full meals, putting him on your credit, buying him cell phones, putting his cable in your name, buying them cars, letting them drive your car at an excessive rate. It's like women sometimes will even do things that a girlfriend or a wife would do while not even having the title. And you're the kind of woman that this kind of man really likes, because he can manipulate you, he can get what he wants out of you. And when you do finally wake up and say, you know what, I'm not in a relationship, you will have given him a lot of your time and your attention, right? So, you know, I was in a relationship for a while. I broke up with the individual, and then I got back with the individual. And the first part was a real relationship, but the second half was this right here. We weren't given labels, but the crazy thing about it was I was kind of okay with not giving labels per se, because I didn't really want to be tied down to him again anyway. So, you know, it's crazy when you get into a relationship, you really have to be mindful of who you're in a relationship with and what their intentions are with you. Are they just trying to be a puppet master? Are they just trying to pull your strings in order to get you to maneuver and activate and do what it is they want you to do? What is their intention with you? Is it their intention for you to be their girlfriend? Is it their, are they looking for Are they looking for marriage? If you're in a relationship and you're looking for marriage and that individual is not looking for marriage, then you're setting yourself up for failure, because you're not going to necessarily change a person's mind. And you don't want to go into a relationship having to change someone's mind. You don't want to go into a relationship having to beg or having to persuade or having to manipulate somebody to be in a relationship with you, because that's the kind of relationship where you're going to turn around and get either used, abused, mistreated, or ultimately at the end of the day, you're going to be heartbroken because you're going to set your level of expectation here when the level of return on your investment is here. And there's a big gap. And that gap, that's where you get the heartbreak. That's where you get the turmoil. That's where you get the confusion. I don't know what I'm doing. This person has said one thing, but I want to believe another thing. Don't place yourself in that situation. So this individual, the stumbler, the trickster in a relationship, he is always trying to reiterate that we're just friends. But you have me doing, you want to spend time with me. You want to enjoy my thoughts, my conversation. You want to enjoy all of this for an excessive period of time, but you still want to reiterate that we're just friends. And the reason why is because, you know, say for instance, he meets somebody who he like a little bit better. And you go out and you see them. I mean, what are you going to do? Because y'all are just friends. You've spent all this time, you spent all this effort, this blood, sweat, and tears with this particular man, but yet you're still friends. My thing is this. Love is a risk. Love is a risk, just like any other risk. And I know some people are like, oh my gosh, no, love is just puppy dog tails and unicorns and rainbows. Okay, I get you, girl. But at the end of the day, in the most basic of terms, love is a risk. Why is love a risk? Because you don't know from one day to the next if that person is going to continue to commit to being in love with you. You don't know if one day you're going to get up and don't feel like committing to being in love with this other individual. So it's not just a risk on how the other person's going to react, but it's sometimes a risk on you don't really know how you're going to act from one day to the next. Someone may say, you know what, I'm going to stick this out forever. But then circumstances, there's a lot of things that can happen that will change a person's mind or change their dedication to a situation. So, in my opinion, that's why I think God is so important, is because God helps you to navigate a situation, if that makes sense. So sometimes when we do it by our own feelings and our own thought patterns, we kind of just do what makes sense to us. But see, when you have God in your life, or you know God, or you fellowship with God, recognize God knows now, today, and God knows on into infinity. And so that's why it's a good reason to consult God on a regular basis. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because he understands the beginning and the end and everything in between. So before you get yourself in a situation with a stumbler or with somebody who just is not right for you or not good for you, the best thing to do would be to consult God. Consult the Holy Spirit that is in operation inside of you. That's it. That's it. Consult God. And don't be in such a rush. Don't be in such a rush to, oh, he got to be my boyfriend today. Oh, she has to be my girlfriend today. No, not necessarily. That's your flesh just wanting to have something to latch on to. Sometimes it's good to just find out what this person is about. Ask appropriate questions. You know, and I'm not saying be an interrogator, but, you know, ask questions. What do you want out of, do you want a relationship with one person? Do you ultimately, do you want to get married? Like, what are your goals in this relationship? What do you want to do with me? What are you trying to build with me? So I think when you ask those kinds of questions and you have conversations and you pay attention to what people say and you pay attention to their actions in combination with what they say. Because an individual who wants to be with you will be with you. An individual who wants to be in a relationship with you, you won't have to poke, prod, and pull, and push, and persuade. You won't have to do all of that because they'll be ready for that relationship. Now, once you get into a relationship, if things don't work out, okay, I get it. It happens. However, you, I think, did your due diligence in the beginning because you asked the appropriate questions. You didn't rush into a relationship. Just because the individual was handsome or beautiful, that doesn't mean they're wife or boyfriend or husband or girlfriend material. Beauty fades. Let's just be honest. Beauty will fade. But it's their spirit, it's their mind, it's their personality. That's what you're going to have to deal with for the long term. Because there's some people who married and got into a relationship with beautiful individuals, but their personality, their soul, their mind, their will, their emotions is just all over, downright unattractive. But then you have some people who fell in love with people who some people wouldn't necessarily say are attractive, but their personality and their mind and their way of doing things is very, very attractive. You know, and I believe that you can ask the Holy Spirit, ask God that, you know, God, whoever my mate is to be, I want them to be attractive. I want them to be attractive, but I want them to have this other stuff too. I want them to have a good personality. I want them to have a good relationship with you, God. I want them to, you know, be able to talk. I want them to not have anger issues and be emotionally unstable and crazy. I don't want that, God. I don't want to have to give up one for the other. So can you please, God, in your infinite wisdom and your ability to make things happen in the universe, can you please send me a gentleman or a female that is beautiful or nice looking or that I'm attracted to, but at the same time, spiritually, mentally, emotionally intact? Can you do that for me, God? I don't think it's always you got to give up one for the other. The God that I know, he says that if you say to this mountain, be removed, then that mountain has to, and do not doubt, then this mountain has to be cast into the sea. So if I say to God, God, please bring me, when it's time, a husband or a spouse or a whatever it is, you fill in the blank, boyfriend, girlfriend, depending on what your gender is, that is in love with you, God, that is faithful, committed, mentally sound, intelligent, this, that, and other, and attractive. And you don't doubt that he can do that because he can do it. He's doing it. It's not like he's like, oh, well, you either got to get somebody who you don't like to look at, but has all this other good stuff, or you got to get the good stuff, but, you know, hey, he gonna look good, but he ain't gonna have all this. So you gotta, you know, trust God in this manner. And I'm sure he's well able. He's well able. Anybody who's able to create an entire universe is able to get to you the type of spouse that you want and that you need simultaneously. So with that being what it is, this video was very good. I enjoyed it. I will be listening to more. But again, this was called The Trick of the Enemy in relationships. So don't fall for the stumbler. Don't fall for the person who makes you think one thing, but in actuality, it's another. That's called smoke and mirrors. Don't let somebody fool you or stumble you into a relationship and you're doing all this relationship stuff, but you're just clearly, anytime anybody asks, you're the friend. Anytime anything comes up, we're just friends. We're just hanging out. We're just kicking it. Hey, sir, we've been hanging out and just kicking it for 3 years now. And no labels have been given. No commitment has been indicated. Well, there's a problem there. Don't be that person. Don't fall for the trick of the enemy in relationships. So again, this has been your girl, Tanisha, giving you a big hug from afar. And until next time, bye.